I answered my apartment door on a Saturday morning to find my sister Courtney standing there with her two children. She announced that I wouldn't be attending the wedding next weekend because I wasn't family material and didn't fit the aesthetic she wanted, but I would be babysitting the kids during the entire wedding weekend at her house. 2 hours away, Courtney handed me a detailed schedule and walked away before I could respond, leaving me standing in the doorway, stunned and furious. My hands trembled as I stared at the papers she'd shoved into my grip. 7-year-old Emma and 5-year-old Jackson had smiled at me sweetly before their mother dragged them back down the hallway. Slam of the building's front door echoed through my bones. I walked back into my apartment and collapsed onto my couch, reading through Courtney's demands. The schedule was typed in that annoyingly perfect font she always used, color-coded and laminated. Friday evening pickup at 5 overnight at her house in Stamford, detailed meal instructions, including Emma's supposed gluten sensitivity and Jackson's refusal to eat anything green. Activities planned down to the 15-minute increment. Sunday night return no earlier than 9. Courtney and I grew up close in our suburban Connecticut town. We shared a bedroom until I left for college, traded clothes, told each other everything. But something shifted after I landed my first real job as a marketing coordinator. Our mother, Patricia, started praising my career success at family dinners. Courtney, who'd chosen to be a stay-at-home mom after marrying young, grew quieter during those meals. The competitiveness crept in slowly, then exploded. 6 months ago, the wedding invitation arrived in expensive card stock, my name elegantly scripted. A week later, a bridesmaid dress showed up at my door, pale blue silk that cost more than my monthly car payment. I'd been honored, excited even. Courtney was marrying Tyler, a finance guy from a wealthy family in California. This was going to be the social event of the year. 3 weeks ago, everything changed. Courtney called me at work, her voice saccharine sweet. She was streamlining the wedding party. She said too many people, too crowded at the altar. She was keeping only our cousin Amanda as maid of honor. I swallowed my hurt and told her I understood. I assumed I'd still attend as a guest. She said nothing to correct that assumption. Today's demand was something else entirely. This wasn't about streamlining. This was about control and cruelty wrapped in a bow of family obligation. I called my best friend Lauren immediately. She answered on the second ring, already sensing disaster. From my tone, she did what Lauren's voice rose 3 octaves. I explained the situation while packing my apartment. Lauren was outraged in that fierce, protective way that made me love her. She told me to refuse to block Courtney's number, to forget the whole toxic mess, but as I looked at the schedule again, I saw something that made my stomach turn. The wedding was at an exclusive vineyard in Napa Valley. Tyler's family had rented out the entire estate. The wedding was going to be child-free and elegant, according to the notes Courtney had written. She wanted picture-perfect moments without her children photobombing her carefully curated Instagram feed. My anger built as I read her demanding instructions. Emma needed her stuffed rabbit at bedtime, but only after exactly 2 stories. Jackson required a nightlight, but not too bright. Meals had to be organic. Screen time limited to 1 hour total across the entire weekend. A list of emergency contacts that didn't include me, as if I were just hired help rather than their aunt. I grabbed my phone and texted Courtney, "I won't be babysitting, find another solution." The response was immediate and explosive. Within 60 seconds of sending that text, my phone started ringing. I watched it buzz on my coffee table, Courtney's name flashing. I didn't answer. Then came the cascade. My mother, Patricia, called, her voice already choked with tears. "Brooklyn, please don't ruin Courtney's special day. Mom, she uninvited me from the wedding but expects me to provide free child care. That's not reasonable. She's overwhelmed with planning. You know how stressful weddings are. Can't you just help your sister this once?" I tried to explain the unfairness, the manipulation, the cruelty of it all. Patricia talked over me, her tears turning to frustration. Then she dropped a bomb I wasn't expecting. Courtney said, "If you don't agree, she's going to uninvite the entire family." Your father and I, Marcus, everyone. Elope with just Tyler's family there. Is that what you want, to be responsible for ruining her wedding and destroying our family memories? My father, Richard, called next, his voice stern and clipped. Brooklyn, I'm very disappointed in you. Your sister needs help and you're being selfish and immature. We raised you better than this. I started to defend myself, but he'd already hung up. Then Courtney called. I answered, this time a mistake I'd regret. You're such a selfish witch, she screamed into the phone. You've always been jealous of me, always trying to sabotage my happiness because you can't stand that I have a family and a man who loves me. That's not true and you know it. You uninvited me, Courtney. You told me I'm not family material because you're not. You're cold and career obsessed and you make everyone uncomfortable. Tyler's family doesn't want you there, nobody does. Her words hit like physical blows. I held firm anyway. I'm not babysitting, find someone else. The line went silent for a moment. When Courtney spoke again, her voice had changed. It was cold, calculating, dangerous. Fine, then everyone should know the truth about you, about what you did at Christmas. My blood ran cold. What are you talking about? I've already told Mom and Dad. I've told Tyler's family too. How you made inappropriate advances toward my fiancé when you were drunk at Christmas dinner. How you cornered him in the kitchen and tried to kiss him. How I've been protecting you by keeping it quiet, but maybe everyone needs to know what kind of person you really are. I couldn't breathe. That never happened. Courtney, that's a complete lie, and you know it. Is it because I have witnesses? Tyler remembers it differently than you do, apparently. And once I tell his wealthy family even worse things about your behavior, well, let's just say your reputation won't recover. She hung up. I sat frozen on my couch, my entire body shaking. This was insane. I'd never made any advances toward Tyler. I barely knew the man. We'd exchanged maybe 50 words total across the handful of times I'd met him. At Christmas, I'd helped carry dishes to the kitchen while he'd grabbed more wine from the garage. We were never alone together. There was nothing to misinterpret, but apparently Courtney had been spreading this lie for months. Suddenly, everything made sense. The distance from family members, the awkward silences when I entered rooms, cousin Amanda's cold shoulder at Easter. They all thought I'd betrayed my sister in the worst possible way. I immediately started calling family members. My Aunt Susan didn't answer. My Uncle Greg listened for 30 seconds before saying, I think it's best if we stay out of this, Brooklyn. Marcus, my younger brother, texted back, Mom told me what happened. That's really messed up. I don't want to be involved. I tried calling Tyler directly. It went straight to voicemail. I left a message explaining that Courtney was lying, that nothing had ever happened, that this was manipulation. He never called back. The weekend stretched ahead of me like a prison sentence. I had a massive client presentation Monday morning. A luxury hotel chain based in Chicago was considering hiring my marketing firm for a complete brand refresh. I'd been preparing for 3 months. This was the kind of account that could define my career, potentially leading to promotion to senior director. I needed this weekend to finalize my slides, rehearse my pitch, prepare for every possible question. Instead, I was drowning in family drama and false accusations. Friday evening arrived. My phone stayed mercifully quiet for a few hours. I worked on my presentation, trying to focus. Then at 7:30 an email arrived that made my world collapse. The sender was my boss, Gerald. The subject line read, "Aren't serious allegations." I opened it with shaking hands. Brooklyn, I've received an anonymous complaint alleging that you've been using company resources for personal projects and fabricating client data in your reports. The attached documentation appears to show falsified metrics and altered financial projections. I take these allegations very seriously. There will be a formal investigation beginning Monday morning. Please do not contact any clients or colleagues regarding this matter. If these accusations prove true, termination and potential legal action will follow. Attached were screenshots of what looked like my emails discussing fake numbers and laughing about manipulating client data, reports with My name on them showing obviously falsified statistics. Documents I'd never seen before, never created, never even imagined creating. But they had my email signature, my formatting style, my digital signature on the bottom. I knew immediately what had happened. Courtney had somehow accessed my work email, or hired someone who could. The documents were sophisticated fakes, good enough to fool a casual examination. My career was now in jeopardy along with everything else. I had 48 hours to prove my innocence while my sister expected me to be watching her children in Stamford. Saturday morning arrived with the weight of inevitability. I'd barely slept, my mind spinning through worst-case scenarios. I opened my laptop and tried to access my work files, looking for evidence that the documents were fabricated. My backup files on my personal laptop were corrupted, every single one. Files that had been perfectly fine on Thursday were now showing error messages. Someone had remotely accessed my computer while I slept and systematically destroyed my evidence. Courtney, or whoever she'd hired, was thorough. My phone rang at 8:15. Patricia again. Brooklyn, I need you to understand something. Her voice was steely now, no more tears. Your father and I helped you pay off $15,000 in college debt 3 years ago. We did that out of love and generosity. But if you refuse to help your sister, if you continue this selfish behavior, we'll need that money back immediately. We'll be sending you a formal request for repayment. Mom, I don't have $15,000 just sitting around. Then you should have thought about that before betraying your family. She hung up. Richard called 30 minutes later with the same message but harsher. You're dead to me if you don't do this one simple thing for your sister. Dead to me, Brooklyn. Think about that. Marcus sent a text. Courtney is crying non-stop. She's threatening to cancel the whole wedding, just babysit the kids. Why is this such a big deal? My social media started exploding around 10 in the morning. Messages from extended family, old high school friends, people I hadn't spoken to in years. Everyone had somehow heard about my supposed advances toward Tyler. The story had spread like wildfire through our community. Someone had created a fake social media account using my name and photos, posting inappropriate things about married men and family betrayal. I reported it immediately, but the damage was already done.